This is the Reentry Network podcast. You know we got Real Talk with Blanco, Dojo Sessions hosted by Sensei Kai. It's the Moving Forward podcast hosted by Moving. The Hall of Fame podcast hosted by the Blueface Boys. That's T3 and KT. You know we speaking clearly with Josh. And Cape No Cap hosted by Capers. All these and more streaming now on the Reentry Network podcast. Proud partner of UNDRGRND Magazine.
What's going on, man? It's your boy Povsky. I'm over here. UNDRGRND Magazine Issue 14. It's a big one right here, man. We got my boy Eric Bellinger in the building, man.
Yes, sir. What's
Like,
good?
I'm
I'm
good.
feeling good, man.
Come on. We fresh off the All Wins exclusive cover, right? You just brought the team through.
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little bit about the experience.
Yeah, man. We brought everybody out, man, by plane, by train,
That was crazy.
and automobile. You know what I mean? I just really wanted to make a moment to showcase what we were doing. You know what I mean? We've been planning this behind the scenes and releasing artists to, you know, get everything rolling. But as far as like popping out, announcing the label and showcasing everyone that's involved, you know, this is it's a big moment for us. So I feel real good. Everything, you know, went according to plan. You know, you have a vision for something, but man, thank y'all for executing and delivering.
Come on, of course. I appreciate you and the team just making the effort. I met bro from Toronto. I mean, I know people, like you said, really taking them planes to come out here. And it's big. So tell me a bit about, if you're saying this is like really that big announcement, what has been your goal for the label, right? Like, obviously we'll get to a lot about you as an artist, songwriter, and all these things.
Yeah.
But what made you want to have a label?
Yeah. I think by doing it independently my entire career, I learned so many different things, you know, from trial and error, ups and downs, things that worked, things that didn't work, things that could work, maybe didn't work for me, but could work for somebody else, you know, and it was like a place where I could just pay it forward.
Yeah.
You know, I can donate the knowledge, I can mentor, I could guide, I could spearhead, I could help executive produce. You know, that was my goal, to really be like Berry Gordy, you know, and Smokey Robinson. You know, you had those two come together for Motown. And I was like, I feel like with me being a writer and an exec, I'm gonna just be Easy Gordy.
Right.
You
That's
know what I'm
fine.
saying?
And then, dude, they kind of help you on the contrary as well. And what's that synergy like
Yeah.
having this team now? You know?
It's dope because I get to, you know, use my polished, you know, expertise when it comes to experience. But when you mix that with the rawness of, you know, people that, you know, maybe haven't done it before, you know, the rawness mixed with, like I said, the polish comes together because it's a new artist, but we're also artists developing, making sure they, you know, look, sign, seal, deliver.
100%, front to back.
Yes, sir.
So what's coming up for the label? Any new releases from any of these artists coming soon? Anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. So, man, Highland Star is coming out with a new EP. You got Stephen G is about to drop his new EP. Don Belly is ready to drop her new EP. Tennis Club has a single he just dropped called Proud of Myself. So, you know, everyone is working. Some people are further along in their projects than others, but, you know, we're just like riding the wave of like who's ready and keeping them in rotation.
Obviously, you spoke on the creative side of the team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Managing, organizing all these different projects, doing all these
Yeah.
sorts of different things, right? Can you tell me a bit about the behind the scenes team? I got a
Definitely.
pleasure to work with Andrew putting this together.
Man. So you got Andrew here, you got JoJo, and you got Six. And it's really the four of us calling shots, making the plays, and bringing our minds together to operate in competition with major labels.
Right. And is there a routine that you guys take to meet weekly, or how is it that you make
Man, that group chat works wonders. You know what I mean? It's pretty much, we talk every day. We're all in communication. Even if I'm out of town and Andrew stays back and has the eagle eyes over the bus and the, you know, the overall tours or whatever we may be doing, we're always all working. You know, all the gears are grinding.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fire, man. That's super fire. So obviously we're here now. You're kind of in the middle of tours, right? Came home from the American tour here, and then you have a European tour coming up, right?
Yep.
So tell me about that whole experience.
Yeah, man. So we just finished up the domestic leg, the Around the World tour. It was fire. I just dropped It'll All Make Sense Later, the deluxe album. all Afro beats. I went to South Africa and recorded the project in Cape Town. So this tour was a little different. So I was able to dance. I was able to have the dancers. And then, of course, we still performed, you know, the drive-bys and the goats. But this tour was super dope because I was able to just experiment, you know, in myself. I even felt like a new artist. So,
That's crazy.
you know, that was a vibe. And to now be getting ready to go on tour with Mario overseas is like, you know, he's R&B. And so now I'm gonna shift the show a little bit. You know, each show I do, you know, we changed it up. Rolling Loud the other day, it was more of a hip hop show.
Right.
You know what I mean? And now this is gonna be more R&B, you know, slow it down and make sure I'm a chameleon to my crowd.
100%. But I've heard you speak in other interviews, doing some research just about really maintaining that R&B, right?
Yeah.
R&B it's not right as much as what it used to be, and there's few and far between the people who are really keeping it alive. And I feel like you are certainly one of those people.
Yeah.
So that's just amazing to see, and just want to give you your props on that.
You.
You know what I'm saying? Absolutely.
All day.
Something that I definitely was just super excited to first of all see, and then also to just talk to you about today was the experience you had with Usher doing the Tiny Desk, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I know you've talked a lot about it, but tell me about just first of all, like, when did you understand you were getting that opportunity?
Yeah.
How did that go?
As of recently, I tried Mr. Mushies, and I'm gonna honestly say, me coming from someone who deals with mental block on the creativity side, because I'm always creating, definitely I would say like this brought me back in the game with definitely like shrooms and everything like that, just because it definitely made me, it gave me that euphoric feeling, you know? Like I felt at peace. That's what I felt. If one word to describe Mr. Mushies and everything, it would be like a euphoric feeling to describe inner peace. That's what I would say, that's what I felt.
So when I was initially rehearsing, we were rehearsing for something in the water festival. So I was just, you know, thinking that that's what we were doing is in DC or Virginia or something, you know, it was super close. And then I think the last second he said, oh yeah, also we're doing Tiny Desk in the morning. That's out there too. Wow. So I was like, I didn't even know, you know what I mean? But luckily we was ready, you know what I mean? It's an early morning thing. People don't know that Tiny Desk is like 7 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like, man, not only we, you know, up early, but we singing R&B. I'm hitting them notes early in the morning, but it was dope because, like I said, we had been practicing.
That's amazing. And so what's your relationship been like with him? Because you obviously wrote for him, and I heard that he like hosted an album for you, right? And
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So it started off by, you know, a song that I wrote called Let Me See. That was a single that he had featuring Rick Ross a while ago.
Wow.
Got flown out to work, and man, it was crazy. After that song, it just turned into so many more opportunities. I got flown to Atlanta, and you know, that's when we really locked in at ATL. And man, I just was able to deliver what he needed, not because I'm just this songwriter that's, you know, but it's just because I've studied him to the point where I just
know what he needs.
Luckily, I nailed it, and you know, just kept nailing it over and over. You know, you can get the opportunities, but it's on you to knock it down.
Right. And so how do you even get wind of you though? How did that first connect happen? Like, how did he want to?
Oh, so I was signed to Sony. ATV had just got a deal, and his A&R, Mark Pitts, who's also the president of RCA, was like, yo, Sony, who's the new guys? Who's the new songwriters y'all got?
Gotcha.
And then Walter sent me, and I ain't had no placements at the time. It was just like, it's in the new cat, Eric Bellinger, we believe in him. And I just went out there and delivered.
That's crazy. Something that I think I would love to have you speak on, and we'll really dive into the whole songwriting thing, but can you explain to some of our audience, because we're underground, right? So most of our artists are more in rap, and in rap, it's very, I need to write my own stuff, right? And a lot of people take a lot of pride in that. When even a lot of rappers have songwriters nowadays and people don't know, right?
Yeah.
Can you speak on the importance of why it's good to have a couple people working on a record?
Yeah, man. I think there's a difference between like an entertainer and a songwriter. You know, some songwriters aren't good entertainers. Some entertainers aren't good songwriters. You know, it's just is what it is. But back in the day, it was more so like, yo, you're the artist, and here's your song.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think it started in the R&B realm, but then once the rapping became more about like battle MC type vibe, then it was like, okay, these lyrics are not meant to entertain. These are like, actually, this is beef, this is turf, this is real, this is street. You know, so if it's not really your words, it's like there's no validity in it. You know what I mean? So now it's like, okay, music, it could be a little different, but rap, I could understand, you know, But at the same time, you do have to understand, like, when a hit is on your front desk, you got to get in that booth.
Right. And it's a hit record regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And a hit record could change your life, even if it's
Yeah.
multiple people that wrote it.
I agree. I mean, that's how I really got, in the game. So I definitely always am for it.
100%.
More songwriters, and, the versatility is what makes the songwriter different. If you can jump in a booth for Usher or Big Sean.
Right. 100%. What do you do on a day-to-day basis, just to kind of speak to your routine, and how do you stay sharp when it comes to whether you're writing for yourself or other people, doing your business, all these things? What does your routine look like?
Man, it's always just super intentional. Whenever I get in the studio, I'm not thinking about writing a song. I'm thinking about telling a short story, over a track. It's not too tricky. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, yo, this is what we need to do. And while I'm writing it, knowing the intention, I'm just trying to think of the dopest melodies, the coolest flows, the coolest vibes that just sound catchy. How can I deliver this message? I don't think too much about it. I usually go with my first gut and my first instinct. And, after, if I hear something different, then I'm willing to listen and change it. But at first, I just let the creative juices go.
Right.
Then I edit later, if necessary.
Because that overthinking and just kind of, that's when it starts to just be like,
now you're stuck. Now it's like, writer's block. Now it's just overthinking. It's a story. Conversation, you don't get writer's block in conversation because it's a flow.
Right.
It's what's the necessary word that's next.
100%. Something I also wanted to ask you in relation to songwriting, because I know you had success in that before actually as an artist, right? So, and I deal with similarly, like a lot of people know me for the business while I'm trying to grow as an artist, right? And so it helps me in ways and then it overshadows in ways. So how did that help you, and what'd you have to go through doing that?
Man, so the songwriting, it came naturally, and I had so many songs that it was like we might as well drop it. Dallas Martin was one of the first people that told me, like, why not just drop it? And then after we did that, I was like, oh, I could do it by myself.
Right.
And I didn't look back, I just kept dropping, and I paid attention to the people that paid attention to me on the artistry, and never looked at it like, oh, we're missing fans. I was just grateful for the people that were listening.
Right. And what were you doing early on to garner fans and to build your brand? What did that look like?
4 to 5 albums a year, performances any and everywhere you could think of, features with anybody I could think of. I really hit the ground running and, flooded the marketplace with quality and quantity.
Right. And so do you feel that albums are what they used to be, and are they still as important to do albums? Like, do you recommend to your artists to do albums?
I do, because I think it's always better to be known as like an album artist rather than a singles artist. Because it's really tough to hang on to any ammo from an artist from just a single. But if it's a body of work, I can fully judge and make an opinion.
Yeah, kind of the difference, like you said, between an entertainer and an artist.
Yeah.
Any entertainer can have a hit single that someone could write for them or whatever.
Exactly. You put a good album together, now it's like, we're talking Grammys,
Right. So I know you spoke about some exciting stuff you have coming for the year.
Yeah.
Kind of switching roles out of, the music, but still in the entertainment. Tell us a bit about what you have going on with the film and stuff.
Yeah, man. So I got a movie dropping March 27th called Soul of a Sister. And it's dope because it's essentially art imitating life. I'm a record exec that's looking for real talent.
That's fire.
Yeah.
So it's almost reality.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. It really is. And I got my brother on the other hand who's only trying to sign what's viral. Now we battling, but it's a dope story and play off of reality. Like everything that's really going on is in the movie. You know what I mean? So people will be able to learn a lot from it, and also got some juicy storylines in there.
Nice. That's fire. Is there any music associated with this movie?
Yeah, so the lead artist, whose name is Nina Walker in the movie, is actually a dope artist by the name of V. Bozeman.
Okay.
So there's also the soundtrack from the movie that will be her EP attached, that people will be able to listen and enjoy even after the movie's over.
That's amazing, man.
Yes, sir.
That's super fire. So, and also, I want to know a little bit more. When I was asking you kind of about the routine and stuff, right? I'm really curious to know, even just outside of music, right? And we were talking briefly about how you go on tour and maybe you need like a week or two to just kind of get back after that or on your feet, right? Like,
Yeah.
what does your day-to-day look like before you're going to the studio, after? How do you balance being a regular guy and then being a superstar, you know?
Yeah, man, it's funny. I had the first conversation last night with my son. We were going back and forth. I was putting him to bed. This is my younger one. He's 5.
Okay.
And we always, of course, just tell him, say, daddy. Call me daddy. Don't call me Eric Bellinger, right? Yeah. So last night he was like, you know, hinting at it. And he was like, can I say it? Can I say it? You know, but I loved it. I love it. You know, just for me, even having that balance is dope because I get to switch up my routine. You know, it's like, okay, now I'm on the road, but man, I can't wait to get home. And then when I'm home, it's like, I love being home. Right. And then it's like, I start itching and want to get back and doing more shows. And, you know, that balance and that back and forth really keeps me, you know, happy, really.
That's fire. And would you say, like, are you like in the gym daily, weekly, like like eating?
Like, after? Oh no, after tour, I'm chilling. Like right now, I kind of like took some time off. To kick it, and this is me kicking it. Like even doing this, it's not really work. You know what I mean? So it's dope to just rest. I've been to the beach like multiple times this week. You know, just sleep on the sand vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like connecting with the ocean.
I just ask about a lot of that stuff because I've noticed for myself as I'm going up, right? It's like a lot of these little habits that you just dial in. You just, you see that in the studio. When you kind of get your personal life more together, you're performing better when you're recording or really performing, whatever. So I think it's dope, man. I think you got a really dope just thing going on with everything from the label to yourself. And
thank you, man.
I've been a fan of yours for a long time. Like something I actually wanted to ask you. What's your favorite Eric Bellinger project? And
man, favorite project.
You got a lot, bro. Like, how many do you even have?
I just counted 43. Wow. If you go to my Instagram at the top, it says EB catalog, and it's in one of the highlights. It literally has the artwork, and you can click the link. And
for each project.
Yeah. So I put them on the story every time I drop a new album, and I add it. So we have 43 right now, bro. So it's dope to look back and to see the growth, my timeline, you know, watching each project evolve, you know what I mean? But I think from time, it's been this song called Reward that's like one of my favorite joints. It's not even a single, it's just like the last song on the album. And it's just a record that I think just dives into me, you know, who I am, telling how I feel. I did it with D-Mal, did it with Victoria Monet, I did it with Tommy Brown. Man, that's one of them joints. And I think Rich's too, And then the project, man, I think Cuffing Season 3. I think that one.
What the cover look like on that? Is that the white one or that's 2?
That's
white.
Like
Epic.
So it's white. Epic.
Is that on Cuffing Season 3?
Yeah, you tapped.
That's my shit.
You tapped.
That's my shit right there.
Right. That's a real like deep dive project, but epic.
Another record of yours I really like, Malibu Nights. Can't Hurry Love. I forget what album that was.
Man.
The Rebirth.
Hurry Love.
Maybe.
I think that was eventually, but I did a project where some of the songs were the double disc where it was like In Case You Missed It vibes. So it could have been that on one of the Rebirths, but it's so many projects, so much music, and man, when I listen on like shuffle, it's dope to just see the songs that come on. Like what? Wow, you know, it takes me back to a place.
Any certain like, what's your favorite like artist you've ever worked with or anything like that you would name?
Yeah, maybe Brandy. You know, I got a song with Brandy called Euphoric, and it's dope, man. She's doing backgrounds and all the harmonies that I hoped she would do. So it's dope to have that one, and that project was actually the Grammy-nominated joint.
Wow.
New Light.
That's fire. And then do you and Usher have music together?
Yeah, we got a song, me, Usher, and Snoop.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, It's called New Oldie.
That's fire. And I think a lot of people don't even know, or maybe they do, but that you are from LA. You're LA native, right? Like
LA
that's
native.
Fire, bro.
Born and raised, bro. The long way, the real way, you know what I mean? Like Long Beach Memorial Hospital, and lived in every city from, bruh, you name it, bro. Compton, Norwalk, Linwood, Hawthorne, Inglewood. Now I'm in the Valley, and I just skirted around and got to really absorb the city and the county.
Right. That's fire. Last question I'm gonna give you. What is the next level of Eric Bellinger look like for you?
Yeah. Man, the next level is doing this right here. You know what I mean? Like, I look at it like I'll be able to take breaks. You know what I mean? I won't maybe be as busy myself trying to, you know, push the narrative for me as trying to be in the spotlight. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like everything that I've done for my artistry and the things that I've accomplished, I'm so excited. I feel like that level of I made it. You know what I mean? Mama, I made it. You know, so now it's just about transitioning, showcasing, like I said, the CEO side of things, showing the transition, and you know, the man that wanted to give the opportunity. You know, it's about connections. So I'm like, let's connect the people, you know, to whatever it is they may need to, you know, follow their dreams.
Right. That was beautiful, man. Well, shit, you got anything else you want to leave them with real quick?
Yo, man. Underground Mag, much love. Thank you so much for showcasing the vibes of the team. You know, all wins, all years. This is started from the bottom. Now we're here.
Facts, man. Let's go, man. It's your boy Popsky, my boy Eric Bellinger, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate it.
Come on, issue 14. Let's get it.